this week we're discussing topics that will benefit your health and well-being. We've partnered with the Well Health Safety Rating for Winter Wellness Week. And since the late winter months can bring some depression, anxiety to us, we are going to accomplish ways to get rid of that. Please welcome back to the show, Dr. Gail Saltz. Now, I must tell you, I was just outside. People are in relatively good moods this morning.
So they told you.
Well, that's what they said.
Exactly. And we tend to keep these feelings to ourselves, right?
So what is the difference in like the cold month winter blues and the pandemic anxiety?
So winter blues are very common. It's steely gray. It's shorter days. People do tend to feel sad more often in the winter time. But this year with the pandemic, with social distancing, people feeling lonely, economically stressed, fearful about illness, I think it's more so. More people are feeling sad related to the pandemic.
So what are some simple solutions to get through it?
Aerobic exercise, getting your heart rate up for 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week, has been shown to help with mood.
Okay.
Vitamin D level correlates with depression. And at this time of year, we tend not to get vitamin D because of this lack of sunlight. So take some supplemental vitamin D. Think about the practice of gratitude, naming 3 things, even though it's a hard time, but 3 things that you feel grateful for each day. Walking out in nature, being in nature, in greenery, even if it's just a walk into the park, absolutely helps. Ask for social support from others, people that you trust. Tell them you're having a hard time, you're feeling blue, and you want to be able to talk about it, and that helps.
What is seasonal affective disorder? What does that mean?
It is a form of clinical depression that happens at the same time every year, typically winter, due to the shorter days and less light. You do feel sad and blue or hopeless and helpless, but unlike typical depression, you often actually sleep more. You sleep more hours of the day, you want to kind of stay in bed, and you eat more, particularly carbs.
I do.
You carb load. And so those feelings, and they really may impair your ability to function.
I had buttered chicken last night, and it actually made me feel great.
Well,
like it got me through all of it.
In the moment, it makes you feel great. Later, maybe not so much.
Tomorrow. All right, tell me about this light therapy.
So therapy for seasonal affective disorder can be psychotherapy and medication, but the unique factor of seasonal affective disorder is light therapy. It can, here, turn on your light. Turn on your light. Okay. There we go.
There we go.
This is a therapeutic light box. Yours is decorative, so it can look nice anywhere. Mine is pretty utilitarian.
Yes, it is.
Both of them have 10,000 lux of light. It's a very strong light. It's not the light that... A light that just says, hey, here's a happy box, buy this for very little money, is not a therapeutic light box. You need a true therapeutic light box for this kind of light therapy. It's 10,000 lux. It has certain UV bands of light so that it's white light, and you don't want other bands because they're bad for your eyes and bad for your skin. This light you will turn on in the morning right after you get up, not late in the day because it'll interrupt your sleep, for 15 to 30 minutes. And you're going to have it kind of like this. You want to be looking ahead at something. Maybe you're on your computer, maybe you're eating breakfast, reading a book, whatever you like. But the light should be in front of to the angle and looking at you as you're looking at something. You don't want to stare at the light. It'll give you a headache, and it's not great for your eyes. You want the light looking at you and make sure your eyes are open.
So what will I feel after the 15 minutes when I turn it off?
Right away, nothing. But over a couple of days to 2 weeks, you will feel your mood improve. And you want to do that every day through the winter. And in fact, if you know you have seasonal affective disorder, you can use it in the fall to prevent a depression from happening.
Got it. We'll put these on our desk for host chat every morning. We'll come back with Kelly and some more tips right after this.
Now, we are back with Dr. Gail Saltz. Listen up, because I truly believe that you are the most important guest we ever have on our show. Major depression is very common, but now we know that we are, how do we know, like, that we are depressed versus sad? Like, what's the difference?
Yes. Well, you're right, it's common. It's already 1 out of every 10 people, and women are twice as often affected. But now the CDC has said it's up 31% this year. And the definer for people should be 2 things. It's functionality. In other words, does the feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness, guilt, irritability impair your ability to function? You can't work. It's interrupting your relationships. You can't can't concentrate. You take pleasure in nothing. And the other piece that's a definer is what's called neurovegetative symptoms, meaning it affects you physiologically so that you can't fall asleep, or you wake up early and can't go back to sleep, your sleep's interrupted, and your appetite's interrupted. You might lose your appetite and lose weight, or you might gain appetite and carb load and gain weight.
It's interesting. I have friends that literally said that they were in pain, physical pain from depression.
Well, in the brain, actually, emotional pain and physical pain, those neural pathways aren't so different. So yes, a lot of people that suffer clinical depression feel physical pain in their body.
So what do they do to treat that? How can we treat depression?
Well, you should see a professional, because depression doesn't go away on its own, and you can't will yourself out of it. So see a professional. Various psychotherapies, cognitive behavioral psychotherapy, psychodynamic, acceptance-based, interpersonal. There are many psychotherapies that work for mild to moderate depression. But if you have moderate to severe depression, you may also need medication. There are various classes of medication that work, and it's really important to see someone to get on the right medication for you.
What about in children? Because I feel like children right now are
Yes.
at this unique place in history where
Yes.
we have asked so much of our kids and given very little thought to what is going on inside of them
The
emotionally.
loss of structure, the fear, the loss of school and presence and socialness has affected many children. And major depression happens in children, but it looks a little different in the sense that they can be happy appearing or fine appearing during parts of the day, unlike adults who look terrible all day long. And still have a clinical depression. They'll just have periods of being weepy or withdrawn or dark. So they have a lot of the same symptoms, but what you'll see is maybe a change in school performance, a regression, like they lose milestones that they've accomplished, a social withdrawal. Those kinds of things are hallmarks, but if they look fine during part of the day, it doesn't mean they're not depressed. You have to ask them, talk to them about it, say, how are you feeling? Do you feel blue?
You know, so many people have been trained to not discuss mental health at all. It really still has quite a stigma. But I think segments like this really help, and you are so good at getting messaging out there, and really appreciate you being here. I adore you.
Thank you so
For
much.
more of Dr. Saltz, you can check out her podcast, How Can I Help, on iHeartRadio. You're phenomenal. Thank you for
Send
being
me questions.
here.
Happy to answer.
I will. I'll give you my personal list backstage. Coming up next, Katherine Heigl.
Live is partnered with the International Well Building Institute for Winter Wellness Week. When you see the Well Health Safety Seal at your favorite places, it means that health and safety measures have met rigorous scientific standards. Look for the Well Health Safety Seal outside and feel safer going inside.